stream, the second of two streams that I, Pugs Parker, do every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. The first one, High Noon, that comes on at noon Monday through Friday. That's headlines, current events, hot topics, trends, whatever it is. Current events, that's anything that's happening during the day. I'm going to talk about it. And I'll give you a hot take. And just that's what that is. Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. But this is different. This is based on conversational chemistry. It's myself, James Parker, just two guys having a conversation about the world. I'm very upset. Can I just start off by explaining how upset I am right now? I'm having some what, James?
Nothing. I just, I enjoy the vulnerability that comes with admitting your foibles and, being just out in public with something that's, I don't know, something's about interesting is about to happen is what I.
Well, no, it's I got a new phone. And I've been struggling with this new phone for the last 6 hours. Now, here's why I say struggling with
Man,
it.
you made it sound all dramatic, like your cat died or something.
Well, I don't know how we're ever supposed to take phone calls again. I don't know how we do that now with this new phone. Because there's a thing that plugs in. See, I'll show you. All right, so here's the old phone. Here's the old phone. So there's like a little thing that plugs in. There's a hole. There's a hole right there. And you plug this in. And then you take phone calls. This new phone doesn't have that. This new phone doesn't have a plug-in thing. I don't know how to use it. So I don't know how we're supposed to take phone calls now.
Well, then no more phone calls. It's just text and live streaming videos from here on out.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm within the same family. Like my heart goes out to anybody who used an iPhone and then they jumped over to a Galaxy or vice versa, whichever. I have stayed within the Samsung Galaxy family my entire smartphone life. I've always been with these guys. And, you would think that because I've always been with them, I shouldn't be completely, feel like a third grader, right? Trying to understand divorce. There's no way. I should kind of understand it. I still don't get it. Every phone is more difficult than the phone. And yeah, it's kind of the same, but the things that are different are so... I'm very get off my lawn right now. I don't like learning the new things with new phones. I get very comfortable with
I love learning the new things with new phones. And I specifically, because I have a personal account and I've always had an iPhone personally. But when I have to get my business account, I intentionally wanted that to not be an iPhone. So sometimes I get the Samsung, sometimes I get an LG, sometimes I got one of these weird Croatian phones for a couple of years there. So I like to keep a toe in both camps because I find both worlds absolutely interesting. Apple is cool because it's its own little ecosystem where they're almost to like the Society of Wall-E, where they've just walled themselves off into this like ecosystem of comfort where they're just getting fat and lazy and unable to fend off the wiles that the regular folks in the Galaxy and Android world have to do.
Here's what I think about the Apple world. Okay. Now I'm Android. I've always been Android. Here's what I think about the Apple world. They're either the good guys or the bad guys. I don't know which ones they are.
And we don't know yet. Right.
I don't know which ones they are.
The fact that it's its own ecosystem reminds me of when America Online allows you to get on the internet, but they really wanted you to go into their own little village of just AOL crap and their little chat bots and their little. So, Apple has a little too much walls around its society for me to be completely comfortable with it. I always want to know what's on the other side of that wall.
How old were you when you first started going in like these chat rooms? And how old were you, I guess, when you first realized how terrible the internet was?
I know the AOL chat room that first time we got AOL, I was a junior in high school, but I was a computer nerd. So I had already been online before that. I was online before the World Wide Web was really a thing. And you used to dial in with your modems to other people's, they were called bulletin boards at the time, which isn't the same thing as we use the term bulletin board now. But you would go in and you would check your messages and you would leave messages and you would play these little text games with maybe they had ASCII graphics if you were lucky. And other people would log on at different times and reply to all the stuff that you did. And so, it was a very caveman version of what we have now, but there was instant messaging and emails going on in like 1990, 91. And so I was a junior in high school, which means it would have to be like 93 or 94 for the first time I got in an AOL chat room.
Wow. Well, I didn't even own a computer until like 97, 96 or 97, somewhere
Weren't
in
you
there.
in college when all this stuff was happening though? You should have been like right on the forefront of all that.
No, we didn't have computers. We didn't even we had car phones, like rich girls had car phones. Their dads would get them car phones. But we didn't have cell. No, we didn't have anything in college. My college was the dark ages compared to what it is today.
Dude, I remember when I went to ETBU, they had an Ethernet hookup in your room. Like the whole campus was on a network. And this was amazing because this allowed us to play online games against other human beings at the same time, which today is totally taken for granted. But that was the first time I ever got to do it because that's the first time I'd ever been in an environment where we had enough bandwidth to even communicate between computers fast enough that we could both be playing Duke Nukem or Doom or, Wolfenstein, whatever was going on in 1996. It was great. It was, oh, dude, we were over the moon that we got to do online gaming in 95.
Never got into gaming. All right. Well, that's enough small talk. What do you got? You got anything you want to get into this evening? Something you want to talk about?
I hate to be one of these fence riders, but I'm not sure how I feel about this video because I am so for the message in this Ice-T video, and I am so against the message.
Wait. Hold on. See, I can't take this.
You don't know how to answer?
I don't know how to answer the new phone. Yeah, we're streaming.
Oh, well, am I supposed to be calling in? James told me he wanted me to call in.
Yeah, well,
Yes, we need to hear all the stories. Get him to call in.
how is he going to call in, James?
You don't know how to hook that up?
Link.
Wait, what?
He said he was going to send me a link.
Yeah, I can send you a link. You want James? Did you send him a link?
No, but I can.
No.
Hold on. Hey, E.
Yes.
Okay, so I can't just have this. I got a new phone, as you know, because the dog got into the box, and I don't know how to take calls on it yet on the stream. So that's why we're talking this way. Did you say that James sent you a link earlier?
I did not send him a link. Send him a link.
Did not. He was supposed to, and he did not.
Oh, he was supposed to, and he did not. All right. Well, did you just send him a link, James?
No.
Welcome. We'll send him a link.
All right,
I
I'll
am
send him a link.
so sorry. All right, we're gonna hang up. He's gonna send you a link, and then you just pop in, okay?
All right.
Okay, bye. Yeah, I don't know how to work the new phone. This is gonna severely set back my ability to do what I imagine I want the show to eventually sound like, but doesn't yet. What you doing there, James?
Typing in Amel's damn email address.
Well, what are you saying it like that for? It sounds like you're the one that invited him and then forgot that you invited him, and then suddenly he calls in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I screwed up. So that's why I'm pissed. That's why I sound pissy because I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at me. I'm an idiot. I screw up all the time. It's very annoying. That doesn't look like even the right freaking link. What is the deal?
I don't know.
Yes, it is. All right.
Let's see. Who do we got in the chat room on tonight's show? We've got Brady. We've got April. We've got Channel 9. I almost said we've got Chanel Nene. Much sexier name than Channel 9.
All right. Well, can I try my Ice-T reference here?
Yeah.
While we wait for Amel to hook up.
Yeah.
All right. So, just generally speaking, your thoughts on Ice-T? Positive, negative, neutral? What? Where are you on the Ice-T bandwagon?
Yeah, you're talking about like Ice-T of Body Count, Ice-T the hip hop guy, Ice-T the cop killer turned cop player for like decades on TV.
Yeah, he was on like Cold Case or NCIS or one of those.
SVU, yeah, one of those things. Okay, so you're asking for my take on Ice-T. Do I have a hot take on him? I kind of like him. I mean, I get his deal. I mean, he just maximized his fame and just, kept cashing them checks.
Emil,
He
do you have any opinions on Ice-T, generally speaking, positive or negative? Yeah, we can't hear you, dude.
we can't hear
Yeah.
you. Your mic's not turned on.
Go to settings and look at your audio source.
All right, James, why do you ask? Why do you ask for our takes on
I do think because Ice-T is an enigma for people who are my age. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm
Okay.
telling you, we still can't hear him.
So for people who are my age, like the very just beginning of pop culture coherence was like in the mid 80s when Breakin' came out. You remember Breakin'?
Breaking, yeah. I remember Breaking and then Breaking 2 and then
Yeah.
Beat
So
Street.
Ice-T was in Breakin'. He was one of the little break dancers in Breakin'. He's doing his little jazzy moves and he's pointing at the back of his tank top that says Ice-T. And so this is a guy who is sort of, if we had a cultural Moses, it would be that this is a guy, one of many guys who is at the vanguard. And so it has been interesting as, my life has grown and evolved, his just right along with it, his career did. So he did go from being Ice-T from Breaking, then to being not such like a Sugar Hill Gang hip hop zippy dibby 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 dap dap rapper to a I want to kill cops rapper.
Yeah,
So
Pop
that was, and whether you agree with that or not, that's an evolution, and it's cool to see artists, explore new branches, because not only was it not, so uplifting and hippy hoppy, it was very heavy metal, and I like the fusion he did there. And then to see him evolve into the acting world to where, we can make fun of him for being an SVU or whatever he was in. I'm not trying to demean it. I just don't like forensic shows. But he did some great acting. I just rewatched New Jack City last week, and that he's had just an amazing career in the fact that he's been able to do so many things so successfully. And so whether you think he's smart or not, whether or not you agree with him politically or his little mantras or whatever, you have to pay attention to people who just whatever the hell they try, they just excel at, you know.
Yeah, I would say one. I don't know what his. I think he's brilliant too. I don't know what his politics are. He just seems like he just seems like a guy who's made the most out of a very limited opportunity that he
Well, it's
got.
the same feeling I have about Tony Romo, because Tony Romo rose to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys for a decade or so. And then he rose and is now an even more successful, at least financially speaking, broadcaster, which is not an easy feat. And those things don't necessarily overlap. And then on top of that, this dude is a scratch golfer that almost made the professional golfers tour
And
a few years
apparently he's
ago.
attractive too. I hate when they sprinkle that in. I hate when they get
Yeah.
all those things and they're attractive. Like
So,
girls, even if they didn't have any of that other shit going for them,
right.
they'd still have a full dance card because they're good looking guys.
So Ice-T is one of those guys. Like, even if you're an Eagles fan, you would listen to what Tony Romo has to say if he's trying to give you advice. And whether you not like Ice-T's music or not, or whether or not you like forensic television, cold case solve-em shows or not,
Right.
whether or not this guy sounds like he is just illiterate, or you think he sounds dumb, or you don't like his grammar or whatever, you have to shut up and listen to what people like this say, because I am not setting the world on fire like people like
All
this.
right,
And so,
you're advocating tirelessly here for Ice-T, and I'm trying to figure out why. How we doing with the microphone down there? Yeah, no, we're not working. That sucks.
all right, so let me bring in this clip, because I don't know if I like this or not. I don't. This could simultaneously be the dumbest clip, or simultaneously be like the very thing that I need to hear and you need to hear, in order to make it to the next level, or whatever that may be. So,
If it wasn't for the hate,
oh, we got Emil just in time.
yes.
Hey, look at that. What was wrong? What button did you?
There was a button,
Yeah, and now it's pushed.
and that button I pushed, and then all of a sudden, poof, I'm here.
Look at that. Here we go. All right. So as you were saying, James was asking for our individual takes on Ice-T. Your thoughts on Ice-T?
Well, I actually think he's quite brilliant. He is on my wife Wendy's list of 5.
What?
Yeah, shockingly.
What? Oh my goodness.
You got to pay attention. Got to pay
Yep.
attention to guys like
Yep.
this.
It threw me for a loop. I gotta say, if on my list of 5, it's not that diverse, and it threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that's pretty exotic. So, but and you like him despite that he's on your wife's list of 5 exemptions. You still like him. You think he's brilliant. Yeah, we're pretty much all in agreement here. He seems like a good enough
Yeah,
dude.
seems like a good dude.
James.
He definitely seems like a good dude. I'm not sure if he's brilliant though. But look, people with a 95 IQ can say brilliant things and lead brilliant lives and make good decisions when I make stupid decisions, so he doesn't have to be an Einstein to say brilliant things. And clearly just his record of success means I'm going to pay attention to what people like this say. So when he gets this Hollywood Walk of Fame star today, this is the 1-minute clip that went viral. I just want to get y'all's response to this. Okay.
And last but not least, I want to thank the motherfucking haters, because you really make me get up in the morning and be the best I can be. All the naysayers, all the people that wanted to end my career, now I'm on a Walk of Fame, bitch ass motherfuckers. And that's the motivation. You gotta let them haters motivate you. You gotta if you want to go in the gym, go on YouTube, see somebody talking shit about you, then go get your reps in. You understand what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the haters, I definitely wouldn't have pulled this off. I swear to God. I swear to God. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you so much more to hate in the future. Trust me. I love y'all. Thank you very much.
All right. So he got his little Walk of Fame star, Ice-T. James?
I would like to hear y'all's response to that first. Is that okay? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fine by me. All right, so I'll go first.
150%. I think he can say that as he sits there or stands there.
Pugs?
Yeah, I totally agree. Vengeance. I mean, he's enjoying a little bit of that, a little bit of a scoreboard dance. I think all of us understand how that could feel pretty good. He really was much maligned. I mean, I don't know if people think that he's just talking about, folks in the social media age saying, I don't like Ice-T. No, we're talking going back into the 90s, man. They tried to take that man's career from him. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to ban him from going and performing in American cities because he had a song called Cop Killer. I mean, it was 60 Minutes, Time Magazine. It was big. So,
yeah. Okay, so Ice-T has a right to say this, just like after that, what was that NFC Championship game where Richard Sherman went on the tirade about Michael Crabtree, don't come at me on the best corner or whatever, don't throw that trash at me. He has the right to say that. Ice-T has the right to say this, but I don't think this is a philosophy that people need to be embracing and catching on, because for 99% of America or the globe that saw that video, you don't have haters. You are imagining haters. You're not significant enough for people to even invest the time to hate you. So, like,
I disagree.
Go ahead.
No, James, I'm with you. I know exactly what you're saying. That's
right, but I feel like I'm wrong on this. So I'm looking. Where's the pushback on this? Go ahead, Emil.
Well, are you saying that he is insignificant enough that he doesn't have anybody that's paying attention to him long enough to hate him?
Ice-T absolutely does. But that would be like that. Yeah.
Well, then what are you saying? I'm confused.
Well, I'm saying
what I think James is saying. What I'm getting from James is that he's giving this advice, but this isn't really practical advice for regular people, because regular people truly don't have haters. They have people they don't get along.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, I think everybody does. You've got to turn it back.
He's talking like everybody listening is hustling their next album, right? I mean, he's talking.
No, because he's talking about getting in the gym.
Well, I think
there's a population and a culture that getting in the gym, like somebody hating on you. Oh, you're fat. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, I mean, I think he's hitting that right vibe.
He's okay. All right. I'm just telling.
I mean, what is your motivation when you start running?
no, I'm just telling you, I understand what James is saying because I could hear a little bit of that too. It's impractical advice. It's terrible advice for regular people. People thinking they got haters. You're just kind of a jerk. And
You do have haters.
No, I don't. I'm not significant enough
Exes,
for people to spend
exes are
any.
haters. Like if you have an ex, you have a hater. If you have a divorce, you could have a group of haters. You could have in-law haters. You can have family relatives. I mean, haters are everywhere. You don't have to be iced tea to have haters.
you can call them haters, but the way that I define haters, nah, you're just a jerk.
Well, what do you mean the way
don't
that you
like
define haters? How is a hater's a hater?
No,
If you're
but
not
no
famous
one's trying to
people,
get me
you're just
fired.
a jerk.
No one's trying to get me fired from my job. No one's trying to get Pugs fired from his job.
Well,
Some
it's
people,
a different degree of a hater, but it's still somebody who's trying to rock your
right,
world. It's trying to throw some shade into your sunshine.
right. But when Ice-T comes out with Cop Killer, there's like a million conservative
Haters.
and activists that go sign a petition to try and take him down. This guy has haters. You might have like 4 ex-girlfriends and a couple of in-laws that hate you. And
Hell, I got my mother-in-law and my wife that hate me. It's tough to go into that transaction.
can we go down that road? Your wife hates you, bro?
No.
Okay.
Just that's in general in most male relationships. If you're married and your wife and you are in an argument, your wife's mother-in-law generally takes your wife's side. And so
Yeah.
you then find yourself alienated 2 versus 1.
You're right. So Jeff says, really, James, you got no one that force smiles at you that doesn't like you. Dude, I don't. I work from home. I don't have any enemies. I only see like 7 people a day. Yeah, I'm pretty well isolated. And I'm
have any
aware of
hate.
my
Yeah, everybody has haters.
Do we? Who the hell hates me? I mean, that's giving me too much credit that anyone would spend any time of their day to go try and get me
But
fired.
again, like not necessarily hating on your career.
No. With the use of the term haters, in the way that I felt he was using it, to me, that suggests a celebrity, non-celebrity dynamic where the non-celebrity is anonymous and able to take shots at the celebrity. That's where I'm sort of finding a disconnect here. He's giving this advice as if everybody has people who legitimately just hate them for unwarranted reasons. And that's what being a hater is, just hating somebody to hate them. You don't necessarily have to have any real tangible reason.
Well, I think, yeah, you're a hater if you start out in the field of hate before you've ever picked a field.
But that's almost always a dynamic that celebrities experience. So when I think of haters, I think of that. Look, I'd never thought of this particular thing before. James just brought it up, and now I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true. Regular people don't have haters. They're just got people they're sideways with.
And not like
it's not different. It's the same.
Yeah, but look, there is something to be said for drawn motivation from your critics, for people, because I'm kind of that dickhead contrarian personality that if someone says I can't do it, that makes me want to do it even more. But you should still be able to succeed or fail, whether or not you have haters. Leonardo da Vinci didn't paint the Mona Lisa because he had haters. He's like, I'll show them. You don't have to rely on people being dicks to be motivated. And not if you're a true genius, you're going to go out and do the best work you can do, whether or not there's someone trying to crap on it or not.
If I'm going to critique my critique, I do have one thought on this speech. Like, I find it's a little odd that he uncorked it on the Walk of Fame. Like, can't you pay to get your way on there?
Yeah, there's like a shady way that people get on there, but you there are other boxes you have to check.
So it's like here you are and you're kind of paying to get your name on the street.
Yeah.
And you're alive, and then you're standing up and going like, hey, this is to all my haters. It seems like that's a weird spot to throw down your your spear and you're going to make this hater speech. Like, I think I would have waited till maybe I got to, I don't know, one Emmy, Academy Award, and I'd done it there. The problem is I don't know that you would have had the opportunity because they probably donged you off or, hit the bell or whatever that crap is. So maybe he just, thought, well, okay, if I am going to do a hater speech, this is the right venue. I can get away with it. Because like it seemed a little angry at the end too.
I think it was celebratory. I think it was look how far I've come, because that's the height of being accepted.
Well, he was letting his inner motivation do the end zone dance with him as well. And I think that's good. Like I get it. You know, a lot of times when you're down and out and you got you that believe in you, maybe, you got to use something to take you up there.
James, what did you think of it? Other than you thought it was bad advice.
Well, I don't know. I just bristle at the people who talk about their haters, because for the most part, people, you don't really have haters. The 12 people that that do hate you, because okay, technically speaking, everyone does have human beings that hate them, but those 12 people mean nothing in the greater scope of things. They are no hurdle to you reaching your goals. You don't have anybody stopping you from graduating college or getting the job that you want or getting the promotion. They're not in the way of any of that. These are people who
So
have
you're questioning the amount of motivation that they might be able to provide, because Ice-T suggested that your haters could provide motivation for you to get better, at doing whatever.
The higher you get, the higher the hate goes.
All right.
I mean, the more the motivation level goes. I mean, because generally the higher you are in the chain, the more money you're worth. So the more money the con or the
I don't think that's a money thing. I think it's a fame thing, because
more money, more haters. You never heard that one?
Yeah, no. I've definitely heard that, but I think that's just something rich people say to shut up their less successful friends. But the real problem comes with the fame, because if you have money and no one knows it, then where would the haters even know to aim their arrows at you?
Well, it's because you're involved in more, and there's just more haters the more you get involved with.
Yeah. Well, look, haters are for people who are on a level that all of the people I hear griping about haters have not reached yet. The people I hear griping about haters are not the successful people. The people who should be griping about haters aren't, for the most part.
Oh, I think you gripe about haters with your inner self if you don't gripe about it publicly. I mean, you can't not deal with haters.
I can. I don't have any hate. Look,
well, mentally you deal with them somehow.
I don't
mentally
have
you give them credibility, or you
see that's one of the other side of the coin to like the idea that America is like this racist, bigoted hellhole. No, the real truth is we're all just indifferent for each other as far as race goes. We don't wake up and give two craps about who can I oppress today. Most of us just don't even think about other people. We're all really self-absorbed. And
yeah, but then there's a group of people that do think about suppressing a certain side.
Yeah, I'm not saying those people don't exist, but that's not the norm in American society. But let me ask you this: who are you a hater for? Not who hates on you, but are you a hater for someone? Are you someone else's hater, and who would that be? Because everyone's going to say, no, I don't invest any time hating in anyone else. Exactly.
Who? Well, let me think. Well, I mean, I definitely have a few people that I'm their hater for sure. Like,
really?
I've got names in my head. I got names in my head that I would rather not like that than like that.
He has real world enemies.
Yeah, like I can
grown man enemies.
I mean, I can say like an enemy that I don't, anything that he does, I hope that it doesn't do well.
Yeah,
I don't hope he dies. I don't wish ill will on his health. But short of that, I hope it's a disaster and an atom bomb blows everything up.
Right, but you don't spend 1% of your time, effort. Or
I don't now, but there was a time when that consumed my mind.
Okay, but you'll even admit that's sort of a rarity, right? And Pugs, are you?
No, it's not a rarity. It's a normal occurrence for people that are on their way up the ladder. I mean, you can invent something and then have that invention taken from you and be short, hundreds of millions of dollars because somebody stole your invention. And so as you go up the ladder, there are more alligators or more sharks that are your haters.
All right, let me put it like this then. For anyone who thinks I may be your hater, I'm not. I don't spend 1% of my time thinking about any of you losers. I don't even know who you are or who you think you would be. I'm nobody's hater. So for anybody out there,
What about if somebody gets in the chat room, right? And they're like, "Oh, James, like, you did the show kind of all right today, but you stumbled and you stuttered here and this, that, and the other." And they're constantly critiquing your performance. Do you consider that a hater?
No, because they don't know me. They have an opinion about this persona that they see through whatever platform I'm on.
I'm not talking about knowing you. I'm talking about if they're constantly picking on your radio character, like
Yeah,
that
well,
your presentation sucks, or you let the rabbit out of the hole, or whatever it is, you go off on the rabbit trails,
but people
whatever it is.
But Emil, people don't do that. If people hate you, they just turn the channel, and that's the real.
No, what if your program director hates you? Like, what if Gavin hated you and he didn't like your on-air person?
Then I would have a hater, but right now I don't have a program director that hates me. I have had a hater before, and I'm not under the impression that anyone gives 1 second of their time any day to oppressing me.
All right. I disagree.
Well, I'm not okay. You are successful enough to have haters. Ice-T is successful enough to have haters. Myself and Pugs probably don't have haters.
No, we don't have haters. All right. I'm sorry. I just have
You still have haters, Pugs.
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
Well, I mean, haters just don't leave. They don't turn into likers. I mean, once they're a hater, they're generally a hater.
I think the one hater we had died.
Who's that?
Russ.
Oh. Yeah.
That is one guy that I can honestly say. How many years was I there at 105.3? Like on the weekends?
Oh, like 3 or 4, right?
4. I mean, I think I got started.
Doesn't matter.
The day Liz Wild got canned, like I was the next day. So from wherever that point is till we got tossed off.
2008.
Yeah, when Pugs left, that's when I left with the New Year's show. So whatever that period of time is, as many times as I crossed by Russ, went by this, that, or the other, we never said a word to each other in that amount of years.
That's exactly my experience. This is a guy that I saw in the hallway on an almost daily basis for about 3 years, and I don't think he knows my name. I mean, of course, you can't ask him now, but when it was all said and done, I don't think he knew who I was.
Boy, maybe that'll be a good portion we'll do for the podcast. We'll hold a seance. We'll see if we can contact him. We'll get some weird.
I'd like to know where his weight bench is.
The one that you were sitting on, that you were told
that I was sitting on. Yeah, I'd like to know where that is. I'd like to take that to the seance. Ask if it's okay for me to sit on it.
So I'm trying to James, that thing I told you about, that bad moment in radio that I wanted to play for you, the video has been taken down, so I can't even do that bit now. You ever heard of a guy named Tony Maserati? Either of you guys? Tony Maserati, Boston sports radio host. Here, I can show you what he said. Here, let's see if you can figure out. Here, I want to show this to you, James.
So there's a guy in a broadcast that said something naughty, and he's getting fired, and we're supposed to pass judgment on it.
Yeah, except we don't have the apology now. The apology was the coup de grace. The apology was all right. So he's a Boston sports talker, and his partner was doing the show via a remote somewhere. And wherever his partner was, he seemed to be doing the show from a public waiting room. And behind him were 2 black gentlemen. And because the host that was in the studio in Boston knew that the black gentleman couldn't hear what he was saying, he was, making all kinds of comments about the black guys.
What they look like in the camera?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Here, I'll play it for you, and then we'll figure out whether you think this is all that bad. And, we'll go from there. Maybe by that point, I'll be able to find... Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, for crap's sake. Nope, sorry, never mind. It's gone. I thought I found the backup. It's gone.
So they keep pulling this video down, huh?
Yeah, wait, what's this? New York Post. Let's see. Hold on. Maybe this is it. Well, let me see if I can find it. I apologize. I had it all.
I'm already impressed with myself that I'm actually here and it's working and the mic's working. So like my technical skills have been maximized in this one show.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys here. I'm going to show you what the incident that got him in trouble. Okay, so this is from the show. Here, I'll make it. Is it sharing? Can you see it? Make it nice and big for you.
Full screen.
Okay, so the guy in the middle. Okay, that's one of the co-hosts. The guy in the middle is not in the studio with the other two guys. The guy in the middle is on remote somewhere, and he seems to be doing this from like the remote of like a Motel 6 or something like that. And he's doing his show from the common area. And there appears to be two gentlemen who walk in and sit down behind him. So let's just watch how this plays out on the air. Okay, this comes from what station is this in Boston? I'm not even sure. And here you go.
That's what I okay. Because if I were, yeah, I want to know now who the two guys behind you are. That's what I okay.
Okay. All right. So, do you see the two guys?
I see the one guy to the right. I think maybe the.
Yeah, you can only see the one guy.
Right.
I guess there are two guys, but you can only see the one guy. So that's who they're talking about, right? All right. So he wants to ask some questions.
Yeah, I want to know now who the two guys behind you are. That's what I okay. Because if I were you,
I'll be off in 2 minutes. I'm just doing. I got just if I'm too loud, just let me know. Honestly,
they can't.
2 more minutes.
They can't hear us, right?
Not you.
Okay, no. So I would be careful if I were you, because the last time you were on a couple of guys like that, they stole your car.
Here's Chris in Boston. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to talk about.
We have to clean up.
Straight into a call, huh? James, how great was that? You get the slightly racist comment about car thievery, and then boom, right into Chris and Bensonhurst. That was great.
Man. Like the only thing that can save him is if he really got his car stolen by two guys that look like that. Exactly.
All right, well, let me ask you first.
No, that was just such.
Hold on. We'll just let James go first, and then I want to hear from you. But James, what did you identify as the problem there in what you just heard?
That this guy saw black guys in the background and associated them with just criminality, period. And they were just dudes in coats. I mean, they didn't look especially criminal. Like if they were wearing ski masks, maybe you could make a couple criminal comments, but they look like normal dudes. I mean, they were black, but Jesus, don't see
Wow.
black
All I
people.
can say is just wow.
Right.
Why? Expand on that. I need you to say more than just wow.
Well, because there was nothing about them other than that they were black for him to make the comment about stealing a car.
Yeah.
Like they're normal black people. They're not car thieves. Like, I mean, for that to like register in your head off of the image that he saw there, I don't see anything with that image being crime related, unless your opinion is black people are car thieves.
The problematic sentence was the last time you were around guys like that, you got your car stolen. That's what.
Right. So black people.
Guys like that, based on what is he saying that these are guys like that? Based on just the look, just that they're black people, therefore connect the dots. Oh, we had to go around the block a couple of times to find out exactly. I don't think it's all that terrible. I really don't.
What? I mean, have you seen players in the NBA?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, what is he referencing that is abnormal about that person that is playing in the NBA that is clearly not a car thief?
I just think he's making a joke that probably would have been widely accepted and applauded in the 90s that you can't tell in 2023.
I would say maybe in the 70s and started getting out of favor in the 80s and should have been out of here by the 90s. And then somehow it's worse now that I think it was even when I was a kid.
That joke doesn't make him a racist. I wouldn't want to fire that guy. Although, you work for a big corporation, sometimes the managers there don't get that choice. But if I was his program director, I would stand up for him. I think it was a joke. It was a joke that played on stereotypes that are no longer socially acceptable to talk about openly. I think that's the problem. I don't think there was any malicious intent. I don't think he's a racist. I mean, any more than any guy from that era could be, pigeonholed as a racist to some degree. Or
Yeah, but
another.
you're having to throw that era in
Yeah,
is
he's an
almost
older
like
guy.
that's like a get out of a half jail free card because you
No,
don't
it's
know
not.
any better.
No, it's not. But it does explain that, he came from a time where his brain doesn't work the way young people's brains work. His brain comes from a time where everything was wired a little differently.
Well, look,
James?
There are so many of these incidences where you have the broadcaster who does admittedly color outside of the lines of what's considered, inoffensive speech. But that doesn't mean that if you ask them in their heart of hearts, do they believe that people have inherent traits based on their skin color that render them superior or inferior to other people's skin colors? I don't think he would check yes on that box. I don't think he's a true racist. I think he said something that is racially insensitive. I don't think he thinks black people are inferior. I think
he told a bad joke.
I think
out of date stereotype.
he has a
But
shit.
if I were to put a white guy there, if I were to take a black guy out and put a white guy there, in order for me to put the white guy there, justifying what he said, like if I thought about it, like, okay, what he said, what would the white guy look like there in order for me to go, oh yeah, that guy's a bank robber, or yeah, that guy's a car thief. And the white guy that he would put there would probably have to have tats somewhere on his face.
He'd have to look disreputable.
You know what I mean? He would probably have to have like the teardrop or the 2 or 3 teardrops going down like he had killed somebody in prison or whatever is that. Maybe even like shaved head, something like that. And then if he said, well, last time you were around guys that look like that, you had your car stolen, I might go, oh yeah, I get that. But I didn't see that distinct difference in markings on this person other than it was a black person in a hoodie, maybe outdoor coat that was up against the wall, and all of a sudden he just associated that to crime.
Yeah, I think he made a bad joke. Hey, so we've got the apology here. So we just heard the offense. We heard what he did on Friday, and then he went home for the weekend. And on Monday, he had to come in and he had to give this apology for what we just heard. Here we go. This is, let's see if we can get it from right here. Here we go.
Chris in Boston. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to talk about.
We have to clean up something from Friday. We had a bad moment on noon, and so we just want to clean up that little bit of business. And so, Maz, the floor is yours.
Okay, so as you said late in the show on Friday, I made some comments.
Okay, now, James, you're an old radio pro. Listening to his voice, is his job and career in jeopardy?
That's all he cares about right now is he thinks he's going to lose his job. He thinks he might lose it. If he doesn't stick this landing like the gymnast coming off vault, he is losing his job. He might lose it anyway, even if he sticks it. And so this is a guy who's making probably $500,000 a year or something.
Probably. Yeah, they're big. They're a successful show.
Right. And he's on multiple platforms. So if he screws this up, he's going to go to driving Uber in a week and never recover.
My heart bleeds for him from the very beginning because you can just hear it in his voice. He is really scared. Here we go.
Fear.
Friday, I made some comments that angered and upset some people, and rightfully so. So I wish I could take them back. I can't. They were insensitive, hurtful, and frankly, they hurt the cause for those of us who believe in racial and social equality and all of those things. And I'm on that side of the line, which is what made this thing so difficult in so many different ways. So I owe everyone an apology. It's not who I am. It's not who we are. I can tell you that until I'm blue in the face. Those of you who know me will believe it. Those of you who don't, won't, and you probably shouldn't. If I saw and heard what you did, I'd feel the same way. And you have a right to be upset. The only thing I can really do is apologize for it. Again, there is, when we're talking about these sorts of issues, there is a line somewhere, and I can assure you I'm on the right side of it. But again, that doesn't excuse what I said or did on Friday. It was really, I meant, if anyone cares, to poke fun at you, Mike. It didn't come off that way. It came off as something far broader and ignorant. And I'm regretful of that. I don't know what more I can say other than I'm sorry to you and to Murray for dragging you into it.
Oh, please.
For Jimmy Stewart, for the people here at the station, let alone friends and colleagues in the business who are dealing with it on assorted different levels. So, again, all I can tell you is it's not who I am. And it got a little silly and stupid at the end of the show. I was trying to be a wise ass like I often am. And it just came out wrong. And I wish I could give you a better answer than that, because we're in a business where we should be careful about what we say and how we say it. And I wasn't.
All right, there you have it. That's the apology. We heard the initial violation, and now we've heard the couple of days of him getting yelled at by his program director on a Saturday afternoon. And now he's apologizing. James, your takeaway.
I hate these stories because maybe it's because I'm a broadcaster, but I give all these guys a pass. I mean, how much time does this guy have to cover? And he says one wrong thing, and that's the only thing he's known for. It's like the old adage, if you own a restaurant, what a tough business that is, because you can give someone 30 awesome meals in a row, and on meal 31, if you undercook the chicken, they're never coming back. And that's what you are from here on out. And it's sort of the F1 GOAT sort of cultural rule that it's just not fair. And like this guy doesn't have a bad heart. This guy that you've all been listening to for 20 years, who hasn't said a dumb thing, finally says one thing, and this is supposed to overthrow your entire understanding of a very complex human being. He said a very stupid, insensitive, troglodyte jokes. He apologized.
It wasn't even that bad of a joke. That's what I don't get. I mean, I thought it was kind of funny because I don't really think that his apology matches the severity of what his transgression is. I don't think.
Oh, it's way too much. His apology is way too much for what he said.
Sounds like fun of.
I don't see it that way at all.
Go ahead, E.
Like, I see it like if I ever need an apology, I want that guy to apologize for me.
Hey, no argument. He's good at it. He's very good at apology. I just think it was a little much.
And I think because of the depths of that apology, he really got what he did. And although it was, like he said, this little dance that kind of happened at the end of at the end of his show, it was truly just harken back to a time in a day where, hey, that's just a black guy and you're calling him a car thief. It's almost like you see a black guy running down the
ridiculous
street,
that makes it,
and then they're like, oh, well, he's missing the TV.
Can I just point something out really quickly? And Emlyn, you might be the only person here that can actually back me up on this, because you just said something. You said it harkens back to a day and a time where that kind of sense of humor was normal. Yes, you might hear white guys they'll tell
Archie Bunker.
Yeah, they'll tell an Archie Bunker style joke about look at this guy moving into the neighborhood, or you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. But here's what I don't think ever gets mentioned. Like, at least in the world that I grew up in, it wasn't just a bunch of white guys telling racially insensitive jokes about blacks or Jews or Mexicans, whatever. They made fun of everybody. My grandfather had a comment for every Italian he saw, for every Greek person, for every German, so it was like we were just as a race of people, we just like to make fun of our differences, and we always have. Now, I understand.
Yeah, but there was get at the back of the bus. There was, hey, you can't drink at this water fountain. There were other things besides that made that a different.
There was. But what we're talking about here is now these guys who came from that era who suddenly find themselves in this era, and we're trying to figure out why they're wired to think that way. And I'm just telling you, they think that way because honestly, they meant no harm by it.
Well,
everybody was a target. They made fun of everybody for being different.
Do you guys recognize the overlap with this, but you move it to a different platform? And it's the Don Lemon story, to where, guys, Don Lemon doesn't see women as some sort of sexual objects who are only in their prime during their childbirthing years. Does anyone really believe that's Don Lemon's, like, just, that's what he boils down womanhood to? Nobody really thinks that. He said something stupid. This guy has been on TV live riffing off the top of
something Don Lemon said.
All right, yeah. So I was going to say, James, make sure people know what you're talking about. Don Lemon, in response to Nikki Haley claiming that presidents need to be younger, and then she sort of offered herself up as
she was criticizing Joe Biden for not being in his prime, for being so damn old. He's like, well, she's not in her prime,
Don Lemon said Nikki Haley's not in her prime.
Don Lemon said that according to Google, women are in their prime in their 30s and 40s, and Nikki Haley is not in her prime. So, of course, every woman over 30 got
Oh my God, dude. He's just
including
dumb.
Pugs Harlow, his co-host, who stormed off the set as they went to a commercial break.
Clearly,
stormed off, left.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Her and Caitlin Collins had to be pulled out of the bathroom because they were so angry at Trump.
Right. Hey, I think my opinion is more valid on this because I politically disagree with everyone on that set, and I wish they would all go away. However, let me defend Don Lemon. Don Lemon clearly has pissed off Poppy Harlow on some personal level behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I don't know who's the bad guy and who's the good guy in that. Maybe Don Lemon is the bad guy.
He is.
Do we have footage?
He might be. But it's more than what he just said. There's something going on, like when you meet these married couples that like just pop off at this slightest offense when you pass me the butter. The fucking butter.
He's gay.
Well, look, that's
but
not
he's a diva. There's a power problem. He acts like a diva on that set, like he's the big superstar, and Poppy Harlow doesn't like it.
I know when co-hosts on the show don't get along.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious for us. We can enjoy it.
Her and Caitlin.
I thought he was just a visitor on there.
No. He's the host of the morning show.
Yeah,
so he's in the morning show, Andy. Then he has Don Lemon at night.
No, they cut that.
They cut that at night in a long time. Yeah.
Oh, so that's out.
Yeah, he hasn't done that in close to a year.
I've seen him in the morning with her, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, is he like, why is he doing double shift?
Look, he's probably a dick in real life. I don't know, and I'm not passing judgment on that. But I don't think that Don Lemon is a misogynist who thinks women's only worth is their ability to bear children, which is sort of the criticism against him now. And while he's suspended, he's probably coming back. And hopefully, if he does lose his job, it's not for this. But no one really thinks that's Don Lemon's assessment of women. Just like no one really thinks that this guy from Boston really thinks that that's does he really think black guys are car thieves?
What?
No.
And when you say she's past her prime, like if you're past your prime, like I don't, you know what I mean? I don't like everybody's prime is different depending on where they're at.
Well, and look, that's the perfect comeback. Prime for what? Prime for bearing children? Yeah, she's past that. Prime for being president of the United States? No, she's still in that window, right? That Overton window doesn't close until age 80, in modern times. So,
well, I think that's the argument that we should close it a lot sooner than 80.
Right, but instead of having the real discussion now, Don Lemon is supposedly a guy who thinks women are just some sort of seminal receptacle, and I don't believe that. As abhorrent of a person as Don Lemon is, it's not that reductive to just think women are some sort of dumpster.
Yeah, he's a pretty horrible person. He just seems like a dry. I always think of Don Lemon as being a guy who wanted to be an actor, but he wasn't that good at being an actor, so he did the next best thing. He wants to become famous from being on TV. And so
politics is Hollywood for ugly people.
It is. It really is. I want to show you guys one last thing. This is something that I have been following. Actually, that's not true at all. I'm not following it because I think it's absolutely absurd. Have you seen this? Have you seen the new? Here, let me get this down here for you. This is the new Dana White Sports League.
Oh yeah, I saw commercials for it.
Yeah. All right, let's watch this nonsense. All right, here, you tell me. Tell me, James, you tell me if this has any interest, either as a viewer, as a participant, whatever. Here we go. right, so I took the sound on because the sound is stupid. But here we go. Oh, geez. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right, I'll give it to you with the sound. Here you go. No, boy! Oh. Okay, guys, your thoughts on the power slapping league? What does this say about America?
Says that we're into very violent sports.
Well, okay, violent. Okay, so is it too violent? Do you have a problem with it? Do you think it should be banned? Do you think it's just gratuitous? Because I do. I think it's just totally gratuitous, but I don't think it needs to be banned. I think if big dumb morons want to just smack each other in the face to the amusement of a gathered group of people, you should be allowed to do that. James, your thoughts on the Power Slap League?
My thoughts go directly to the 2005 pre-documentary. This is the only pre-documentary that's ever been made, called Idiocracy, where the number one show in the country is called Ow My Balls.
Ow My
where
Balls.
this guy is just repetitively racks himself in various ways, whether he falls on a power line or a construction horse or whatever. This is Ow My Balls, and we are just one step further down the civilization decline. I'm enjoying it. I think this is fantastic. I would have loved them around in Rome when they were feeding the Christians to the lions or whatever in the Colosseum.
Oh, see, now hold on. Now, I'm glad you said that, because you said that you would you watch this? Did you? Is this something you'd be like, oh, I got to be home in front of my TV at 8:00 because I'm going to watch a bunch of dummies smack each other in the face for an hour?
This is not appointment television. I would.
It holds an interest. See, it doesn't even hold an interest to me. To me, it's just like I'll watch a couple of guys get slapped, and then I think that's enough.
No, this is one of those sports that is going to make really good highlight reels. You don't have to sit there and like, I don't want to watch a baseball game, but if you want to water down the 3 hours of a game I missed into 12 seconds of highlights, I'll get the whole gist. And that's probably about all little.
I mean, when I see it, like, I'm looking at it going, okay, if it lasts for like 6 months, a year, 2 years, then I think I'm going to start getting interested. Because it kind of feels like the beginning of MMA.
Interested in what? No, and
personalities. The guy with the big.
Well, because like obviously, how hard you hit somebody on the side of their face is going to have some knockout type impact. You've got to know where you're hitting them, or hitting them in this spot, and so there's going to be an assassin-esque kind of guy that has knocked out, so many of them in a row. And you're going to pay attention to that.
Right. Isn't there a magic spot like right here, Pugs, where if you can just hit someone, they'll just buckle?
So
and if you're going to be in the power slap, the what?
There's a couple, but you're talking about the hinge button.
Yeah. Can't you just slap that? And once one dude figures it out, all these dudes are going to be collapsing, and he'll just be the Tom Brady of the slap league or whatever.
They'll all go down with flash knockouts as soon as somebody. But I think there are rules about where you can hit them. I think that they watch for that.
How are we ending the show without asking E his live 105.3 stories? I want to hear his worst.
Because he'll be with us over the course of time, and it's 10:00. And as you can tell, my voice is completely cached, so I'm trying to preserve it. All right, guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow at high noon. James, tomorrow we'll have a guest that you'll be satisfied with tomorrow.
Better.
There he goes. That's James. Thank you, E. There goes E as well. And we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow at noon for high noon here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Bye, everybody. Found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest.
Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some.